This is Ana Kasparian ripping into Dave Rubin. Now, I'm not here to defend Dave Rubin. I happen to agree with a lot of what she says about Dave Rubin. But it's still important to listen. Let's take a listen.
But there's this whole notion now that it's a very intellectual thing to just allow people to come on your show and say whatever they want without challenging them. That's what real journalist is. I mean, that's a real intellectual. No, it's lazy. It's because you don't know anything. It's because you're nothing more than an intellectual lightweight, okay? And a perfect example of that is Dave Rubin. So I've been quiet about Dave Rubin for years, but I know Dave Rubin probably better than anyone else in this company because we were very close friends, okay? Went to dinner at his house every weekend until all of a sudden he's not liberal anymore. All of a sudden, after getting some funding from the Koch brothers, he's now a libertarian. We'll get to that in just a second, but the reason why I have such a huge problem with Dave Rubin is because he's had Milo Yiannopoulos on his show twice, hour-long interviews, and Milo was able to say whatever he wanted to say without any pushback from Dave Rubin, including anti-Semitic remarks. Here's an example.
Well, let me take the ultimate example, what remains the big taboo in society, which is anti-Semitism, right? Most of the generation Trump, the alt-right people, the people who like me, they're not anti-Semites. They don't care about Jews. They may have some assumptions about Jews. They may have some prejudice about Jews, like the Jews run everything. Well, we do. The Jews run all the banks. Well, we do. The Jews run the media. Well, we do. You know, I mean, they're right about all that stuff. Now, what you do with that is the issue. But the reason they go on about
I don't even know where to start with that, so just go.
We do. It's a fact. This is not in debate. It's a statistical fact. You know, Jews run most of the banks. Jews completely dominate the media, vastly disproportionately represented in all of these professions. That's just a fact. It's not anti-Semitic to point out statistics. But you know, you seem to have you've missed what you agree with me on feminism. Like, it's not sexist to point out statistics. I'm suggesting to you, it's not anti-Semitic to point out that these things are true. Now, the anti-Semitism on the internet.
Okay, that's not remotely true. That's not a stat. That's not a fact.
It kind of is. Yeah. Jews are. I'm not going to tell you Jews run everything. That's stupid. But are Jews overrepresented in terms of their population size in media and in the banking industry? Yes. There are historical reasons for those things, by the way. And they have nothing to do with a Jewish conspiracy to control the world. But those are kind of facts. But whatever.
And if you want to see how someone challenges that deeply anti-Semitic trope, watch my...
I mean, how's it anti-Semitic? Jews are disproportionately successful compared to other races. Seems pro-Semitic to me.
Interview with David Duke where I shred him. And every time he mentions a Jewish banker, I mention a non-Jewish banker. Why? Because I actually bothered to do my homework.
That doesn't refute anything. The contention is not there are no Jewish bankers. The contention is Jews are disproportionately bankers. Like, a disproportionate number of bankers are Jewish compared to the size of their population. That's the contention. Pretty non-controversial to me.
And I know that David Duke is a monster, and that if you're going to have a discussion with him, you have to actually rebut.
He's a monster. Oh, them monsters. Ooh, rah. I don't even like when people call like serial killers and shit monsters. It's like trying to say, oh yeah, what they did that's not something that I might be capable of. That's not something that human beings do. That's something that monsters do. So I don't even like it for that. But for you just to describe a racist as if they're a monster, he's not a monster. He's just a racist. Call him a racist. That's fair. Don't call him a monster. He's not. He's not. The boogeyman is a fucking monster. All right? The Leviathan is a monster. Cthulhu is a monster. These are just humans.
What he says, and you have to come with actual facts. And what does Dave Rubin do? I don't know what to say about that. Just go.
No, it's actually worse than that. Dave Rubin sells it as, I'm far more intellectual And as a result, I refuse to engage in a debate or an argument. I allow people to make their case on my show. No, you're lazy. He was lazy when he worked here. He's lazy now with his ridiculous show where he
He's lazy when he worked here, but we were close friends though. We met all the time. He had dinners at my house. Did you think he was lazy the whole time? The whole time he was working with you guys, the whole time he was coming to your house for dinner and you were going to his or whatever the hell was going on and you were chums, the whole time you were just like, that lazy fuck, that lazy piece of shit. I hate him. He's one of my best friends, but I hate him. All right.
Proves time and time again that he doesn't know anything. And why do I know he's lazy? Why did he really leave the Young Turks? Can I please finally tell the truth about why he left the Young Turks?
Please,
he
God,
wanted to make a six-figure salary to host a 30-minute-a-week show when everyone here, because we work for an independent news company, was getting paid far less while working 12-hour days.
Sounds like a fucking pretty good decision to me. Doesn't it? I mean, all right, you get paid a six-figure salary for 30 minutes, or you can get paid less than that to work for 12 hours a day.
And he had his own show.
Yeah, and you get to be your own show,
That's
and we'll
awesome.
fund you. Did he sell out ideologically for that? Maybe, probably. That's not good. But yeah, don't act like that decision-making process doesn't make sense. I don't think you get to get indignant about it.
That's why Dave Rubin left the company. And now all of a sudden he's getting funded by the Koch brothers, and all of a sudden his opinions are very different. He has no political identity. He is not an honest actor. He is not an intellectual. He is a fraud. Plain and simple, and he's giving platforms to people like Milo Yiannopoulos on his crappy show. That's who Dave Rubin is.
Yeah, he's lazy, he's a fraud, he's full of shit. Now, before we get any further, this video is pretty poorly rated here. It's got about, can we scroll? Can we do that? We have some scrolling going on. All right, we'll do it that way, I guess. 11,000 thumbs up, 15,000 thumbs down. Some of these people in this chat are basically saying that this is because the Young Turks are jealous of Dave Rubin's views and shit. Dave Rubin's views are good. I mean, they're nice. I mean, about 133,000 views a day, getting about 631 subscribers a day. Those are good numbers. The Young Turks, though, I don't think they're too jealous of Dave Rubin. They're getting about 1.7 million views a day and about 3,000 subscribers a day. So I really don't think that it's jealousy here. I don't think that's it. But I wanted to show you another Ana Kasparian clip. I'm building a little case against Ana. This is right when Colin Kaepernick started doing his protest, okay?
Colin Kaepernick refusing to stand for the national anthem is
Let me go ahead and make that normal speed.
Steam among other athletes in the NFL. In fact, other players are planning on joining him or have already joined him. Among those who are thinking about possibly sitting during the national anthem once the season begins, we have Cliff Averill and also Doug Baldwin.
Ooh.
So there they are, and ESPN interviewed them, and they had some really interesting answers that I want to share with you guys. Wide receiver Doug Baldwin and defensive end Cliff Averill are considering a protest in week one against the Miami Dolphins. Averill says, we're thinking about it. I truly respect what rules who feel personally under attack by our current system, who feel like their communities are, being targeted by law enforcement. And so now they're bringing this issue to you, and you're forced to deal with it. You're forced to acknowledge it because you're confronted with it, right? And I love that it's making people uncomfortable.
And look at the consequences that have flowed from it. So
shut up, Jake. No one cares. Get back to Ana. I know she's got a little bit more to say here.
The stories regarding police brutality have been ongoing for years now, and there seems to be no solution. I mean, there have been some solutions, so I don't want to be completely negative on that. But you have people completely denying it because they kind of like what's going on. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So, football player decides to kneel for the national anthem to protest police brutality. Ana Kasparian is enthusiastic about that and says that she's glad that they're bringing that issue into the public space. She's glad that they're starting a conversation about that. She understands the meaning behind the gesture. Good. Next video. This is about 6 years ago when my girlfriend Chelsea was 19 years old. She was a senior in high school. She missed a year before that.
Yep.
To go to Canada.
Yep.
What school was it?
Collingswood High School.
And you got in a little trouble that year, didn't you, Chelsea?
Yeah.
What was the issue?
I just never really wanted to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I didn't understand why they kept forcing us to. And they ended up trying to suspend me over it, and I just went to the news about it so they at least would see what was going on, because I felt like it was unfair.
And you did some research as well.
Yep.
Into New Jersey law.
Yeah.
What did you discover there?
The law that they were trying to use against me to say that that they could make me stand had been overturned in the 70s, I believe.
So the law had been overturned for 30 years, and they were still trying to enforce it at the schools.
Yeah, it was written in our code of conduct that we had to sign, and it was extremely expired.
And they tried to suspend you for that, and also there was some personal repercussions, right?
Oh, yeah, a lot of, like, my peers, you know, kept talking down to me and telling me I just need to stand, and the teachers would talk down to me and, I don't know, just say, like there was just one guy that it really pissed off, one teacher, because he was a vet.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to me in the hallway. It was just me and him in the hallway. And he was like, I'm going to get you for this. Like an evil villain from, you know, a cartoon.
I'm going to get you for this.
He said that to me. I was just like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and walk myself to the principal's office.
That's a teacher saying that, right?
Yeah, that was my homeroom teacher.
Your homeroom teacher
Yeah.
is saying, I'm going to get you for doing this.
Yeah, because he was yelling at me because I was late, and I kept walking away from him as he was yelling at me.
What about your family? How did they react?
Oh, God. I still have family members that won't speak to me because of this.
And you were kicked out of your house?
My house.
Right after graduation,
The
right?
day after I graduated. The person I was living with, they wanted me out the day that this happened. The news story broke. But my dad kind of bargained with them to let me graduate, which was like, I don't know, a couple months away.
So they wanted to kick you out immediately. And this is your dad's girlfriend we're talking about. Let's just be real.
Okay, yeah.
This is your dad's girlfriend. She wants to kick you out
As
soon as it happens. Like the night the news story breaks, she wants to kick you out of the house.
Yeah.
And you decide, or your dad bargains for you in as far as let her stay at least till she graduates.
Yeah, because he really wanted me to graduate high school. I was only a few months away.
So you suffered quite a few repercussions.
Yeah.
For deciding that you didn't want to stand. Looking back on it, do you wish you just stood and did it?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
I feel like the overall gain was actually more.
Why? What do you feel like you gained from it?
It made me realize that I could change shit that pissed me off. you know, it brought that out in me, and I was happy for that. I gained confidence there, but really just being a part of the atheist community and shit, like right after that, they were way nicer than like the Christian community that I was in previously had ever been. So
this story was actually covered by TYT. And to Ana Kasparian's credit, she doesn't outright say, like, you know, Chelsea didn't have a right to do this or anything like that. But listen to the way she talks about it.
Religious freedom, and at the same time, there's.
Let me go ahead and slow this down.
On religious freedom, and at the same time there's such a promotion of Christianity in elements of government. So the Pledge of Allegiance is one example. Our money, our currency says in God we trust. So I'm curious to see what her thoughts are on that. Like I'm totally supportive of her decision, right? But like, is she going to stop using money because it says in God we trust?
Did you stop using money?
Oh yeah, I've never used money ever again. Not once.
Right. So I feel like there's a bit of a difference in tone there from how she's covering Colin Kaepernick. Because with him, it seems to be effusive, like, wow, he's really bringing attention to something. He's really doing something noble, something great. With you, it's like, yeah, I mean, I support her right to do it, but, you know, like, what's she going to do? Like, not use money because it has In God We Trust on it? Like, what's she going to do? Just
like,
not even use money?
Heard that argument like a million times from everybody else.
Because we have such a choice in using money. Because the necessity of money in a capitalist society and reciting a pledge of loyalty to a fucking piece of cloth every day, those are totally on par with each other in terms of avoidability, right? So let's... she says some more shit.
She might use credit or something.
Yeah, that's
She might use credit.
Well, you should stand and recite it because
Listen to this.
I think that you should be able to, or you should stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. It's patriotic. It's the Pledge of Allegiance, right? But
wow, seems like a very different attitude, doesn't it? I mean, you should stand for the Pledge of Allegiance because it's like patriotic to do that. So, millionaire quarterback, media darling Colin Kaepernick takes a knee for the national anthem, and he is a fucking hero. What a noble sacrifice that millionaire just made. But fucking high school student with no one backing her up, not her family, not her friends, not any goddamn buddy, takes a similar stand, not from a position of being a millionaire, and it's like she's a fucking joke to you. Well, fuck you, Ana Kasparian. You're a phony. You're a fake. You're a fraud. Go fuck yourself. That's my Ana Kasparian thing. She probably doesn't think this way anymore, TJ. People can change. Maybe she has.
Maybe.
Hope she has. Hope so. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to consider supporting this channel and all of the Pessimist Productions channels on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. You make everything that we do, from the Deep Fat Fried podcast to this show here to the Cinema for Cynics channel, you make all of it possible, and we thank you kindly.